These are the signature models for 2021 from Ibanez Guitars. Now, as you'll see, there's a lot of people's names here. There's a lot of guitar models here, and we're only talking about one guitar company. I'm not saying this is the only company that has signature models. Every company now seems to be having an abundance of signature models. In fact, I don't know where they find the time to have the regular production line. If you're like me, you're a Pink Floyd fan and a David Gilmour fan. Back in 1975, when they released Wish You Were Here, you can hear David Gilmour's D1228 and you can hear his D35. They're the same models you could have bought at the store back then and the same models you can buy in the store today. You want to get that exact guitar, it's a D35. You want to get that exact 12 string, it's a D1228. However, Martin had the brilliant idea to now release the David Gilmour signature Martin guitar. Now this is a D35, but in mahogany, offered in 6-string and 12-string. There's a stamp on the back of the headstock, and inside the sound hole you will find David Gilmour's signature. Now, why would you want this guitar? Well, the answer is easy. Because you want a guitar with David Gilmour's name in the sound hole? I have no idea. You see, when I was a kid, we had guys like Jimmy Page on stage playing a Les Paul. Van Halen was playing his Frankenstrat. In fact, let me just make this clear. When Van Halen signed with Kramer, they would show Van Halen with the Kramer, what looked like a Beretta, but it really was a Pacer body with the angled pickup like the Beretta. But they sold the Kramer Beretta. Eddie did not play the Beretta. Sure, he played a guitar that kind of looked like the Beretta, but Eddie would not allow anybody to sell that striped guitar. That was his guitar. In fact, he had issue with Grover Jackson in 1979 about the Bumblebee. He did not want anyone playing his guitar. That was his guitar. If you wanted the same model without his paint and without it looking like his and without his name on it, that was cool. Somewhere along the line, we got to the point where everyone needs a signature guitar. And I'm going to show you where this is a mistake. Martin, by the way, who has an absolute ridiculous number of signature models out for people, they make a 0028 EC. Now this is a 00 body, 14th fret, the neck connects to the body. It is a 24.9 scale. It says Eric Clapton's name on the signature on the last fret. It is extremely unnecessary. I showed a friend of mine the guitar because I think the guitar really plays well. And he was like, yeah, that is nice. I'm going to go buy the Collings. So he bought an OM2H. Now, why did he buy the OM2H? Was it because he wanted the Collings? No, he actually wanted the Martin. But Martin doesn't offer it without Clapton's name on it. And he was like, well, it's right around the same money. I'll get the Collings. Now, the Collings is a 25.5 scale, which I happen to prefer. He happened to like it too after he got it. But I do think that people that don't want to sit there and have somebody else's name on the guitar simply because you have a deal with them. Now, sometimes a signature model is important. In 1977, Ibanez approached Paul Stanley and asked him about playing a guitar. And he really liked the Iceman. So he went and designed the Iceman and made it work for him because it didn't really look like the way it looked when Paul Stanley got a hold of it. So he made the PS10. Now, when they sold this guitar, they sold it as the Iceman PS10. They weren't really over-glorifying it like it was the Paul Stanley model, even though it really was. However, this didn't happen very often. Those people back then bought guitars off shelves. If they wanted them modified, they would have their tech modify it. So why is it you want your guitar modified the way they want their guitar modified? First of all, the Gilmour guitar, forget about it. It's not even like it's modified. The guy just wanted a different guitar over the years. That's what they're giving him. That guitar that he's coming out with has nothing to do with the iconic songs like Dogs or Wish You Were Here or anything Gilmour played on acoustic, because those guitars are still available. Now, over the years, there's been some creativity in guitars. For instance, the Ibanez Fireman, I think, is a cool guitar. It's Paul Gilbert's take on the Iceman, and it's different. It's a different shape. It's cool. I don't know if it says Paul Gilbert on it. I do know it's the Fireman, and it's a signature model of his, but I'm not really sure. However, everybody knows when they see it, if you're playing that guitar, you're a Gilbert fanboy. No question about it. Now, but I still think it's a cool guitar. Steve Vai's Gem and the Pia, also really cool guitars. Are you a fanboy for owning a Gem? I don't think so. I don't know, because that guitar is so different. The neck is really wide. There's some features on it, like the scalloping high up. There's a lot of things I really dig about the Gem that I think really makes it a worthwhile guitar to own and play. And that's why there's other musicians and other famous musicians who play the Gem. If you want to go buy a Les Paul and you want to buy the Duane Allman Signature 59 or the Gary Rossington Les Paul or the Jimmy Page Les Paul or whoever's damn Les Paul you're trying to buy, why wouldn't you just buy the Les Paul? Buy a historic, and anything you want to do or mod to it, you can do. But you can make it your own. They're all the same damn guitar. Those guys aren't doing anything with features. You know, it's funny. When I was a kid, I bought an Aria Pro 2 ZZ Deluxe, 1983. At that time, Yngwie was playing the XX Deluxe. You can see him playing it in the Islands in the Sun video. Neil Schon played the PE80, I believe the model was, which was like a Les Paul type of copy thing. Really nice, but it wasn't the Neil Schon PE80. It was just that's what he played. So when I was a kid, I was always like, these guys are cool. You can go and buy that guitar if you want. Aria Pro 2 also made the Herb Ellis model, and I figured at that time, Herb Ellis was this jazz guy. It's a jazz box. He probably had his hand in designing it. And I've noticed that with jazz boxes that companies like to associate with a real jazz person. Joe Pass has a model of guitar. George Benson has the Ibanez. By the way, George Benson Ibanez, they didn't have that in the beginning. Why didn't they list that as one of their artists? They still have the model. Oh, and I bet you Herman Lee still has the model. I don't think they put everything there. That's insane how many they have. Also, when I think back to Jackson, they had some signature models, but even Dave Mustaine was playing a King V for the longest time, so he's playing a Robin Crosby guitar. Marty Friedman's playing a Kelly, the Jackson Kelly. It wasn't the Marty Friedman Kelly, at least I didn't think it was or know that it was, but now I think it's just out of hand. I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting guitars. Now, I mentioned Nita Strauss before on my show, and Nita is a really good guitar player, really good player. But I don't see the value in giving her a signature guitar. I don't see the value in giving Rick Beato a signature guitar, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I mean, is somebody going to go, oh, I always wanted the 1958 double cut Les Paul special. I just wish it had a guy's name that has a YouTube channel on it so I could pay a little extra. Yeah, that's what you wanted. Anyways, Nita Strauss, she's like, I don't want to be seen as a sex symbol or anything like that. She's got the push-up bra, the leather pants, her stomach showing, she's half naked. I have no problem with it, but don't sit there and pretend that you're not using it. And secondly, oh, I hope little girls will look at me as a role model. Oh yeah, little girls will look at you as a role model, especially all the 12 to 14-year-old girls that can't get enough of listening to Alice Cooper records. Let me tell you, Alice Cooper hasn't had a decent album since 1974. The 80s stuff for him is terrible. You know who likes him? Little heavy metal boys. So let me tell you, Nita, if your goal is to try to get all the 14 and 16-year-old boys to the show to come see you, well, now we're making sense. That I understand. But are they going to buy your model guitar? I don't think so. I just think the whole thing's ridiculous. And why are companies spending so much time making signature guitars? This is causing all kinds of problems in production. You have production models, you have signature models, and it makes the price go up. This is what causes prices going up. You need to limit your models, bring down the number of models, maybe bring up more colors. You don't need 500 different models and then 3 colors on each model. You need 10 models and 30 colors each, and it'll be much easier. Now you're only going to be bottlenecking paint. You can buy an inexpensive Mexican Strat, change the neck, swap the pickups, do all the mods you want to do to it, make your own signature model. Fender does not need to have a ton of signature models. I don't know how many models Jeff Beck's selling. I don't care. I just can't imagine it. I just don't get it. Because if I was to go watch an old Jeff Beck video and I was really into what he was doing and wanted to do, I would find out what he's playing and go buy that. I wouldn't go buy his signature. When John Mayer made his custom shop Strat at Fender, you could basically find out what it was, and if you really wanted something like it, you could do your own thing to it. But why would you go spend the extra money to get his? Anyway, stay tuned. Next week, I'll be unveiling my signature guitar. Very good.